We got a lot to talk about today. Today, we're going to talk about something that we both need to know in order for me to provide anybody with any information about what to do with their hair. And that's porosity. Porosity is something that's very important to knowing in order to get your hair regimen together, in order to get your hair life together, in order to properly take care of your hair. And it's just a really essential factor in knowing your hair. So what is porosity? A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know that it's just so important, and it is. You're gonna see me looking down a lot because I got notes for y'all, because if I just rambled all this, it would be everywhere. It probably still gonna be everywhere. But anyways, so porosity is the quality in how porous your hair is. So your hair is full of tiny holes if it's very porous. It allows moisture and water to absorb and get into your hair very easily. So knowing whether your hair has those tiny holes or if it doesn't, or if it's in the middle, is essential. An example of your hair having these tiny holes and absorbing would be like a sponge. A sponge has multiple holes in it, and what does a sponge do? It absorbs water, it holds water, and it dries out fairly quickly. So how do you know if you have high, normal, or low porosity hair? There are some tests you can do. Now, what I can say is those tests aren't always reliable. So sometimes you might want to go off of characteristics of things that you know or just notice about your hair type. Or not hair type, but your hair in general. And in order to do one of these tests, you want to make sure that your hair is just pure, clean, no product, and dry. The first test is the water test. Now, we're not about to do these tests today. I'm going to just let y'all know what they are. I'm pretty sure you've probably heard of them. But for those that haven't, here you go. So the water test. The water test is when you get some water into a cup. And like I said, your hair is freshly washed. It's clean. And it's dry and free of product. So you might want to take some hair that has fallen from combing your hair, or just take a random strand, and you're going to place it in the cup of water, and you're going to wait maybe about 5 minutes and see if your hair floats and stays at the top, or rather if your hair, kind of goes down a little bit to the middle, or if your hair sinks to the bottom. Okay, so then what? What does those things mean? We're going to get to that. If your hair floats, it is low in porosity. If your hair sinks, it is high in porosity. If it sinks, and I'm telling you it's high porosity, it's because why? Your hair absorbed all of that water fairly quickly, probably. And if it's still floating, it's because your hair is kind of struggling to get that water in there. It's not really absorbing as easily as you probably wanted to. Another test that you can do is called the slip and slide. It's basically taking a strand of your hair. I would probably take it from like a middle strand or a back strand, or I'll even test a couple of strands in different areas of your hair, because just like your hair is different hair types in different areas of your hair can also be different porosities. Very, very possible. So you take that strand, make sure you have one strand. You're gonna slide your finger up that hair shaft. The hair shaft is the outer layer of that hair. You're going to take your hand and you're going to slide it up that hair shaft while holding still the bottom of that strand. If you feel like any type of ridges, bumps, knots, whatever, if you feel some type of ridges as you're going up, you probably have high porosity hair. And I say probably because sometimes these tests don't work or don't necessarily mean exactly what I'm telling you. And that's high porosity because those ridges that you feel are your cuticle layer of your hair that is open. The hair shaft is like this. It's just open along the strap. This is the shaft and the hair is just opened up. And you're going to feel that. If you don't feel anything and your hair is fairly smooth when you glide it up that hair shaft, your hair is low porosity because that hair cuticle is closed. So you're not going to feel any bumps along the way. Let's get into the third test. The third test is the characteristics test. This test is kind of like questions that you can ask yourself. And if your hair falls into a specific category, but your hair is either low or high porosity. So we're going to get into that. What are the characteristics of low porosity hair? We're going to find out. And at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you what type of hair porosity I have. That way you'll know if it's a good idea to completely follow what I'm doing. So, low porosity hair is, like I said, when... I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so tired. And it's late. But low porosity is when the water sits on the hair. If you put water in your hair and you might see just like the beads of water just sitting on there. Or even if you don't see the beads of water, but you're realizing it's taking a while for your hair to be saturated in water. That's one characteristic. Your hair also doesn't allow moisture in your hair. So it takes a while for your hair to feel moisturized when you're moisturizing it. Because your hair is just blocking it out. It's hard. Or it's just not the proper product for your hair to absorb easily. It's hard to process and style your hair in terms of if you're getting hair color done, for example. It's probably going to be hard, resistant, or take a very long time for your hair to process that color and become the color that you're trying to turn it to, because your hair is not trying to absorb that chemical. It's not trying to absorb the liquid of the hair color. And also if you're styling it, say you're doing a perm rod set or whatever, and you're trying to send it to dryer, it might take a very long time to dry or a long time for your hair to become that style. Because your hair has to, not chemically, but just physically wrap around and realize that it has to dry into the form of that curl, that perm rod that you're turning to. And with low porosity, that's sometimes a very difficult task. Another thing is chemicals and heat do not cause low porosity hair. More than likely, it causes high porosity hair. If you have low porosity hair, it's more than likely genetics. Products sit on the surface of the hair. So if you notice, whenever you do your hair, you style your hair, you're putting these products in your hair, and you see a white cast very easily on your hair strands, or you can just see that product or feel that product on your hair strand, or it's just when you touch your hair after you've let it sit for maybe 30 minutes and you've touched your hair and you see that product now in your hands because it has not gotten to that hair shaft, it's not absorbing into your hair. It's not doing anything for you, my dear. That's low porosity hair. Now we're going to get into a couple of tips. Before I get into that, another low way to know you probably got low porosity hair is if your hair takes a long time to air dry and blow dry. Just ask yourself, like, do my hair take a long time? Not just because do it take a long time because I got a lot of hair, but just in general. Is it hard to get it dry? If it is, low porosity. Now, here's some tips for low porosity hair. There's a ton of tips I can give you. I just kind of gave some of obvious ones and ones that will really help you get through this. Because low porosity hair is a little bit more difficult, in my opinion, than high porosity hair. and we'll talk about why later. So you want to let your hair be damp and not soaking wet before you apply products. If your hair is soaking wet, your hair is full of water already. It doesn't really have a lot of room to absorb much of anything else. So you want to just have it damp, because you definitely want it to be wet in some shape or form, not dry at all, before you're applying these products. Steam treatments will be your best friend, because steam treatments are a deeper way of penetrating your hair and getting products and getting your hair cuticle layer to open up than just regular not deep conditioning, just a regular air dryer. That steam is going to open that cuticle, and whatever product you got in there or whatever deep conditioning you got on your hair, it's going to help it. It's going to soak it up. Low porosity hair, I mean, it's for all hair, but low porosity hair, that's something you're going to want to do consistently. Like, ain't no such thing as too much of steam treatments. Let's see. You want to find a product that has the right ingredients to penetrate into your hair shaft. Products like that would be products with honey in it or glycerin, not products that contain a lot of oils, because oils are quote unquote too heavy to sit on the hair. And a product that has that, it's going to be much more difficult to get into your hair and moisturize it and do whatever you want it to do. Let's see. You want to apply products when your hair is wet and warm. Warm because you want to open up that hair cuticle. You want to open it up. If your hair just got done from being rinsed with cold water and you think you're about to hop out the shower and apply something on it, baby, no, you're not. So you want to make sure your hair, if you finna apply some product as soon as you hop out the shower, you want to make sure you just rinse that conditioner and shampoo off with warm water. That way that hair cuticle is still open when you get out, for that product easily absorb into there. That cold air from just the natural air will help it close the cuticle and the oil that you're going to put on there eventually. A method that you want to use for conditioning will be the LCO method, not the LOC method. So for low porosity hair, you want to do, the L stands for liquid. Excuse me. The C stands for cream, and the O stands for oil. Another tip, you don't want to use products that are too heavy on the hair. So if it is a cream, make sure it's a light cream. Not no heavy, extra sturdy butter. Like, it's just going to sit on there. It's not going to do nothing for you. Let's see here. Now, here are some products and shampoos that you want to use. There's a ton. I will get another video out for you, letting you know, like, some more that I truly know of. But these are just some I kind of looked up for you guys. So one of them being Kinky Curly Come Clean Naturals Moisturizing Shampoo. That's a good one because it doesn't have a lot of residue on there. You want to use products that don't contain a lot of residue behind. The Garnier Fructis Curl Moisturizing Sulfate Free and Silicone Free Shampoo. That's a nice one to give a try out. I'm pretty sure it's at Walmart. The reason why you want to use that one maybe is because it has glycerin in the ingredients. And remember, I said that's something you want to look out for when you're choosing your products. Let's see. You want to clarify your hair. Clarifying is so important for low porosity hair, because if your hair is easily able to build up products on it and you're not completely cleaning the hair, it's going to be even more harder to get more products in your hair and to retain moisture. So you kind of, in my opinion, you want to clarify your hair whenever you see buildup. if you're not doing it already, like once a week. Once a month is good, but I would probably do it twice a month if I were you, or whenever you see build up. So if you do styles every week and you feel like your hair has built up after the first week, clarify. It's not going to kill you as long as you're using a moisturizing shampoo afterwards and moisturizing properly after that. It's going to do nothing but good for you. And a clarifying shampoo is not the same as a regular shampoo, so keep that in mind. Make sure it says that. Alright, so that is it for low porosity hair. Definitely got another tip for you guys that I forgot for low porosity hair. Here's a couple of do's and don'ts. For low porosity hair, you want to make sure that I already told you to deep condition with heat. One little thing you could do is take your conditioner, your deep conditioning mask, warm it up for about 20 seconds or until it's, lukewarm. Apply it to the hair. Your hair is going to be so happy. It's going to absorb probably quicker than ever because as soon as that deep conditioner touches that hair, it's already opening. And it's opening with what? Moisture, baby. You also want to use protein treatments that has silk, wheat, and hydrolyzed ingredients or hydrolyzed protein in it. It'll say it on the bottle. It'll either say it in the back or the ingredients, or it'll say it as the title or one of the front options on that product label. And also low porosity hair is sometimes more than likely protein sensitive, so you do not want to overly use protein in your hair or overly do protein treatments in your hair. That's a big no-no, because what your hair will do is, because it's going to resist it, because your hair is already quote-unquote strong, because the cuticle is nice and strong and smooth and closed, it's going to dry your hair out. It's going to make your hair brittle. It's going to make your hair weak. It's going to do the complete opposites of what you want it to do when you're doing a protein treatment. So that's something that if I had low porosity hair, I would do once a month. High porosity hair. Go, 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 go. That's what I got. That's what I got. That's what I got. That's what I got. So I have high porosity hair, obviously. Let me tell you some things about high porosity hair and how you can figure out if you have it too. High porosity hair absorbs moisture easily, just as easily as it lets moisture out. So don't think you're doing anything too special. Products absorb easily into your hair when you have high porosity hair. It doesn't retain moisture shortly after, though, like I was just saying. So your hair might feel moisturized right now, but if you ain't did the right method, regimen, or your hair just don't like what you put in it, that moisture is coming right back out. High porosity hair can be genetic, but more than likely it is not. It also can be caused by straightening, any type of heat, chemicals, just damage overall to your hair, bleaching. That stuff will cause high porosity hair because it's opening your cuticle, it's eating at your cuticle, it's damaging the cuticle. And another name for high porosity hair is sometimes quote unquote damaged, because your cuticle is really not meant to be open like ours is. But it's okay. We're going to get through this. Or it could just happen naturally from the sun and stuff like that. It don't mean you did something bad to your hair, but more than likely you do. You have high porosity hair if your hair on a norm looks frizzy, it looks dry, it lacks luster, it doesn't really look shiny all the time. It's prone to breakage. So your hair is kind of, if you just naturally have weak hair because you need some protein, that's not what I mean, but if you take care of your hair and stuff and it's still kind of on that fragile side and you don't have fine hair, it air dries very fast. So like I said, it absorbs all that moisture, but it's going to let that moisture right back out, so it's going to be dry quickly. That still has variations for if your hair is just super thick and it just naturally takes a long time that way. But yeah, Let's see here. Looking down at my notes. Let's see. So with high porosity hair, you want to do hairstyles and maintenance that promotes and reduces any more damage to that hair cuticle, because you need that hair cuticle to become strong, whether you change the porosity or not, because that is also possible to do. You want to reduce making it any worse than what it really is. You want to create a regimen for retaining moisture. Retaining moisture is the focus point for high porosity hair. So low porosity, you want to focus on getting in that moisture. High porosity, you want to focus on retaining that moisture. So that's what we struggle with if you don't have the right regimen. You want heavier ingredients. Like I said, unless you got like super fine hair, 3C type of hair, you want you want products that are heavy. You want butters, you want heavy, thick creams, you want thick, creamy moisturizers, deep conditioners. You want it to be able to really get in there, stay in there, and be a lot of it. So it can't just absorb and come right out. Even your oils, butters, and stuff. You want that stuff. That stuff is naturally heavy, and it's going to do your hair some justice with keeping in the moisture. You only want to use lukewarm water on your hair. And I don't know how I completely feel about that, because I really do feel like it depends on the person. I think my hair reacts very well when I rinse my conditioner with cool water. So what I like to do, having high porosity hair, as my experience, is initially when I get in the shower, when I'm doing my wash days, I rinse with warm water. I'm making sure the cuticle is open. You know what it is. We're making sure. That way that shampoo can get in there, clean it really good. And then I'm going to rinse the shampoo out with lukewarm water as well. You do not want to use hot water. That's going to make that hair cuticle so angry and sad, because like I said, you don't want to do anything that's going to affect that hair cuticle anymore. But when I put my conditioner in there, I am conditioning with heat and stuff like that, just to enhance the moisture content. But like I said, I like to rinse with cool water, because when we get out the shower and put products and moisturize our hair, it's not really that hard, because the cuticle kind of still open. It's still going to open back up. That cool water ain't just sealing it up. It's just not. It's just helping that conditioner, rinse and be in there still. You want to avoid sulfates, parabens, silicones, and sodium lauryl. Wait, what is it? I don't know how to pronounce this. Sodium lauryl sulfates. Hope that's right. You want to avoid that stuff, because that stuff is very, 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 very drying to the hair. It's bad for the hair. It hurts the cuticle. It makes the cuticle sad. Let's see. You want to avoid doing a bunch of manipulating and heat styling, because your hair is, that's one thing I think about high porosity hair. I think is more prone to heat damage than low porosity hair, because that cuticle is already damaged, and putting that heat on it is just making that hair brittle, sad, and that curl is not going to be a beautiful curl anymore, because you hurt the cuticle. The cuticle is the outer strand of the hair. Remember, guys, stay with me. Products and shampoos that you want to use. My camera had the nerve to shut off. Excuse me, iPhone. As I was saying, products and shampoos that you want to use on high porosity hair. There's many. These are just a few that I looked up for you guys. And surprisingly, Olaplex shampoo was one of them. And let me tell you, I already used that. I use that. I've been using it very faithfully, like I said in another video, for multiple months. And I see the wonders it does for my hair. It's already called Olaplex No. 4 Bond Maintenance Shampoo. The bonds in your hair are in relation to your cuticle and things like that, and keeping those things repaired. And that's what this shampoo helps, and it really does. Okay, so give it a try. It's a little expensive, but make it happen, Captain. Diva Curl No Poo Milk Cleanser is another good, I think it's a shampoo. Yeah, obviously it's a cleanser. It's another good shampoo because it doesn't dry the hair out because it's a no poo, so it probably doesn't have a rich lather, which is okay. You really don't want to focus on that with high porosity hair. Another one that you could just kind of low end find out Walmart is the L'Oreal Total Repair Shampoo. That tends to be an I just went through hell and hot water with this phone. I need some more storage. But I was explaining to you guys about some products for high porosity hair. We're going to go back to the Shea Moisture Manuka Honey and Material Oil Hydration Hair Conditioner. The Neutrogena Triple Moisturizing Daily Deep Conditioner. And the Shea Moisture High Porosity Moisturizing or Moisture Correct Mask. That's one I'm going to be doing a review on very soon, because I want to try it out for myself. And any type of co-wash is really good. You don't really want to clarify high porosity hair because you don't want to strip this type of hair. You want to put anything moisturizing. So if it's a moisturizing shampoo, grab it. As long as it's silicone and sulfate and all that stuff free. I think that's why my hair love co-washing, because co-washing is kind of like a conditioner, which is moisturizing, but it cleanses it. And it also makes a lot of sense of why my hair really doesn't get too dirty. It doesn't really build up products very well. Not that I use a lot of products in my hair anyway, but I feel like having high porosity hair is a little easier because we just gotta moisturize our hair more often if it's not retaining that moisture, versus worry about how to even get it in. Like, who wants to worry about that? But yeah, this is something you want to know in order to know how to moisturize your hair. You want to use the lock method if you have porosity, where you're making sure that you have a liquid, which is your warm water. And then you want to, cool water from the conditioner, but water in general. I like to use a leave-in on my hair, oil, and then cream. Sometimes I do a leave-in, oil to lock in that leave-in. Then I'll do a cream, and then I'll put some more oil to lock in that cream. We want to lock it in, okay? So stay tuned. I'll be doing more videos in regards to hair info, and this is just step one as to knowing how to take care of your hair. Bye. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're staying tuned. Ask me questions in the comments below. Let me know what else y'all want to know, any questions you may have, and I'll check it out. I'll do whatever videos that are requested, like and share my video. Thank you.